So right now, I've got a parent who is diagnosed with a pretty serious disease, and this story is not about that, but it is about something I learned while researching what to expect in the months ahead. I came across this statistic, that says about 40% of caregivers across the country are millennials. And you wouldn't be wrong if you suspected that the numbers are trending in a way that there will be even more Gen Z caregivers than that. I dug into why this was happening, and there are some societal reasons why so many younger people are having to give care. And that led me to meet Alex McLean and her grandmother, Lila Noble, who's in her 80s. Alex helps take care of her grandmother part-time.
I mean, to me, it's just a part of life, like returning the favor of, my granny's been there for me since I can remember, like through high school, through college, and just wanting to put that back into the earth because it was given to me.
On days they spend time together, Alex works from home, helps her grandmother if she needs it, does any chore that involves driving, and goes through complicated documents like bills and bank statements. Alex acknowledged caregiving does create a burden, especially as a newlywed, but she says the burdens are worth it.
It's just a part of life. I think I'm naturally just a caring person, so I'm always kind of like worried about my family and like how I can help or what do they need me to do? How can I make myself available? But what I have learned in that is that, now that I am married, I do have to create my boundaries here and there, but I still always make myself available because I'm just like, okay, what do you guys need? How can I help? How can I assist?
Millennials and Gen Zers who are responsible for giving some kind of care are being given a name. They're being dubbed the sandwich generation, sandwiched between caring for their own families and caring for the elders above them. And that doesn't just mean running errands. There's some studies that suggest young people are in some cases financially contributing to their parents' well-being too.
It's hard, it's difficult. These are people who are working, and even younger millennials may even be in college or school. And so trying to balance the work, the caregiving responsibilities, maybe their own families. They may have started their own family. It's tough.
I talked with Linda Levin at ElderSource and asked, even if the millennial caregiver is up for it, do those who are cared for often want this kind of help?
So needing someone to care for you, whether it's paid or unpaid, informal or informal, it's already a difficult experience. To need your adult child to care for you is a blessing that they can, and that for so many that do, but it's hard, right? You're the parent, and it's hard on them to have their child now have to take care of them. They were the ones taking care of the child. They raised the child, so that's tough for them emotionally.
There's more to do with the rise of kids taking care of parents and grandparents than just baby boomers getting older at faster rates. Yes, that's happening, but so is a workforce shortage in home healthcare workers, people you can hire who are trained and licensed to take care of other people at their home.
There's a couple different components. Number one is reimbursement of home care services is set by Medicare, and reimbursement over the last 10 plus years has gone down at a pretty significant clip. So that's one challenge. The other challenge is there's inflation, there's wage increases, there's increased cost of care because of new technology that's needed. So there are other additional costs involved in providing and delivering home care. And so the breaking point is home care providers are being paid less and it's costing them more to deliver care. And so in many cases, they just aren't making any money, let alone an appropriate margin. It's really none.
Josh Marks works at Medical Service Company and is vice chair for the American Association of Home Care. He points out COVID has highlighted this home care worker shortage because so many people need ventilators, something most millennials don't own, and a machine that requires medical training to operate.
The money spent to care for an older American, if it's not being supported by Medicare or other insurances, is coming out of the millennials' pockets. And on average, we're looking at $6,000 to $7,000 per year easily. That's just personal income being reallocated elsewhere. And some of the net effects are you've got lower care that's being delivered, which is then creating a greater number of hospitalizations. And hospitalizations, we're talking about $5,000 to $10,000 per day on the healthcare system as a whole. So the arithmetic says invest more in home care, and in turn, you will spend less in healthcare as a country.
In addition to the possible financial burden, millennials also face a time burden. The Family Medical Leave Act was passed in 1993. It says you can't be fired for leaving work to take care of a family member, but your job doesn't have to pay you while you're gone. It's something, but it obviously puts a number of young caregivers in a bind.
They're calling out sick. They're having to cut back on their hours to be able to provide the care at home, so they're cutting back to part-time, or they're leaving their job. Employers don't want to lose good workers. So they are many companies are putting in policies to be able to support that working caregiver. And they're putting in programs in their employee assistance program. There's corporate elder care. And that's a wonderful thing to be able to provide them that kind of support, that flexibility that they need.
One pro tip from caregivers I talk to: get plugged into a support group or paired up with an organization that offers help specifically to caregivers. There are actually lots of them, like the Association for Caregiving Youth.
People don't understand. And I think one of the reasons is because so much is behind closed doors, and kids, as they're growing up, want to be normal. They want to be like everybody else. And some kids are assigned, other kids step up to the plate. Like if the grandparent is living with them and has maybe Alzheimer's disease or has a stroke, they realize what's going on and that their parent is overwhelmed. So they step up to help.
My advice would be to give the help that's most meaningful, because what else can you do? Like, you really can't do anything by yourself. And if you need to ask for help, because don't ever be ashamed about it, because at some point every caregiver needs the extra help, even outside of your family, because even within your family you only know so much and you can't stress yourself about what you don't know. So ask for help.